The sun was setting over the small village of Umweke, painting the dusty road in shades of gold and sorrow. Inside the compound of Chifodenigbo, voices rose and fell in heated argument. At the center of it all sat Adaeze, trembling, broken, and speechless, as her father placed a small brown envelope on the wooden table before him. This, her father said, his voice heavy with shame, is the bride price we received from your husband. We are returning it. From today, my daughter is no longer married to you. Tears pooled in Adaiza's eyes. Her heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear the murmur of the villagers who had gathered to witness the moment. Her husband, Emeka, stood tall, but his face was cold, the kind of cold that comes when love dies and pride takes over. I have tried, he said bitterly, but I cannot live with a woman who cannot bear me a child. Adaize's lips trembled. Emeka, it's not my fault. We can keep trying, please. But Emeka didn't even look at her. He turned and walked away, leaving Adaize staring at the ground, her tears falling silently. That night, she packed her belongings and returned home, not as a daughter visiting her parents, but as a woman whose bride price had been returned. The whispers in the village were unbearable. Some pitied her, others mocked her. They said, "She looks healthy, yet she cannot conceive. Maybe she offended the gods." Adaize cried every night. The pain of being called a barren woman cut deeper than a knife. But her mother, Mama Uju, refused to let despair win. "My daughter," she said one evening as they pounded cassava together, "a woman's worth is not in the children she bears, but in the heart she carries. God has not forgotten you." Months passed. Adaize began to rebuild her life. She started teaching at a village primary school, her laughter slowly returning, her smile becoming genuine again. The children adored her. She sang songs with them, taught them morals, and soon people began to say, even though she suffered, her spirit never broke. One day, during a community health outreach organized by a charity group from the city, Adaize volunteered to help as a translator. Among the team was a young doctor named Chike. He noticed her quiet strength, the way she spoke kindly to everyone, the way she listened more than she talked. They became friends. Slowly, friendship turned into something deeper. But Adaize was afraid. She said, "Doctor, I cannot marry again. My last marriage ended in shame. My bride price was returned." Tike smiled softly. "Adaize, you are not a commodity. You are a woman, precious, strong, and kind. What they returned was money, not your value." His words sank deep into her heart. For the first time in years, Adaize felt seen, not as a barren woman, but as a person worthy of love. Months later, Chike proposed. The entire village buzzed with excitement. Even those who had once mocked Adaize came to celebrate. But on the morning of her traditional marriage, as she prepared, she received a surprising visitor. Emeka. He looked older, worn out. "Emeka," he began, his voice heavy with regret, "I came to apologize. After you left, I found out the problem was never you. It was me. I am the one who could not father a child." Adaize's eyes widened, but she said nothing. Tears filled his eyes as he continued, "Please forgive me. I have lived with the guilt every day." Adaize placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Emeka, I forgive you long ago. I prayed for you to find peace." When he left, she stood by the window, the wind lifting her veil slightly. She smiled, not out of pride, but gratitude. Life had tested her, but she had risen above pain. As the drums began to beat in celebration outside, she walked out, radiant, confident, and free. The same villagers who once whispered behind her back now sang her name. That evening, under the stars, Chike held her hand and whispered, "You are proof that when life takes something, it gives back something even greater." And truly, it did. Because months later, while running a women's health program, Adayaze discovered something she never expected. She was pregnant. When the news spread, the entire village rejoiced. But Adayaze smiled quietly and said to her mother, "Even if I never carried a child, I have already birthed hope, love, and strength." Mama Uju hugged her daughter tightly and whispered, "My Adaeze, when your bride price was returned, it was not the end. It was the beginning of your blessing."